Hello everyone and happy 2023. My name is Maddy. I am a freelance illustrator and an organizational fanatic. I thought it would be great today to learn together how to create our own weekly planner. This way we can start the year just right.
The right monthly planner can literally change your life. It makes you focused on important tasks and pushes you to organize your time in the most effective way possible. When you create your own planner with a gorgeous design, you get inspired one day after another. So if this design inspires you, let's begin. Let's create a brand new document and settle for A4 paper size. I think it's a very practical size with enough space to add anything we might need and want. Then, let's focus on some groundwork. Let's unlock rulers and set up our grid to 5 mm. Final checks. Make sure your Snap To functions are all turned on, including grid. Next, I want to create some guides to define the edges of my page. I draw one square that is 20 by 20 mm and use it to create both horizontal and vertical guides all around my page. This way, I'm setting the boundaries for my design to make sure the main layout doesn't get too close to the edges. Let's make the background a subtle off-white color. We'll keep the bright colors for all the fun details. This is the palette I am working with. A rich creamy color for the base, a warm yellow, orange, pink, fuchsia and blue. You can pair these colors as gradients to create new variations and save them to your palette. Or you can stick with your own palette to make the design your own. At this point, I'm going to separate an area at the top for the title and the hero illustration. When designing a layout, it's good to use the space in a precise way, and all the little UI elements in the app are here to help. Let's create one 90 by 35 mm rectangle. This little number next to the shape tells us the exact size, so if it's not 90 by 35, you just need to adjust it accordingly. I also changed the corner radius to 15 to get a nice rounded rectangle. If you want to get specific, you can input an exact number from the inspector instead. And now, I am duplicating it 5 times, one rectangle for each day of the working week, leaving 5 mm in between each shape. Remember, each square on our grid is 5 mm, so you can just skip a row to get the perfect spacing between the rectangles. Moving on to the next shape, I start by creating a circle that is 75 by 75 mm and a rectangle 75 by 90 in size. We're going to select both by activating multi-select and unite so they create one seamless shape together. For the last container, let's create an almost square shape, 75 by 70 mm, also with a 15 mm radius. To give it a cute math notebook look, I'm adding a thin one-point line for each row and column of the grid. Keep duplicate mode activated, and then drag and drop the line horizontally first, then group. And repeat for the other side. Since I think this grid is a bit too small, I am scaling it up and then centering it. And finally, I'm masking it under the squarish shape and putting it back in place. As for this arch shape, we're going to create some rows by adding a circle and a line, meant for our main to-dos that week. Duplicate is a must for symmetrical and meticulous designs, like the one we're creating today. Time for some text. Armed with the text tool and the font called Adventurer, we're going to give our planner its title. I know that 72 points is the sweet spot here, so I'll input that directly from the side panel. Then, we've got the weekdays labels. 72 is quite obviously not going to work, so let's reduce the text size to 12. And here, I want to change the aesthetic a bit by adjusting the tracking to 5. Tracking defines the spacing in between the letters of a word, and it's a great way to completely change the look of a text or to improve legibility. Let's create a third style for our text labels. It's the case for the to-do section. Since this is more prominent than the days of the week, but less important than the title of our planner, we'll make this a cool 20 points. Having 3 different font sizes helps you create a clear visual hierarchy in your layout. Let's add our goals to the checkered space here and give our text a background using a rectangle with rounded corners. Otherwise, the label could get lost on top of the checkered pattern. I'm applying the same font size to another text box at the bottom that holds my mantra for a productive week. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. This is a fun way to motivate yourself during the day, but don't forget to have fun too. To prove it, we're going to add a bunch of colorful elements to make the week's task more fun to complete. Let's add an illustration to the top right corner. Since my theme for this planner is stars and cosmos, I've decided to draw a planet. Start with a simple circle, but add dimension with gradients. Create these wavy sort of shapes with the pen tool, and give all the shapes this fuchsia to pink gradient. Then every other shape, switch the gradient around, using the teardrops to give it a velvety effect. I actually think it looks a lot like Jupiter. Once the gradients are done, mask under the circle shape. Then we're giving it a ring, so now it's more like Saturn. An easy way to remove the part of the ring behind the planet is with the scissors tool. Just tap where the cut needs to be, and now you've created 2 endpoints, meaning that you can move or delete this shape super easily. Let's finish this magical pink planet with some moon and stars. You can switch the grid off now and focus on the more illustrative parts of the design. So for the background, I'm just drawing some organic freehand shapes with the pencil tool on a layer below all others. I'm just not thinking too much about it and just going with the flow. The gradients look real nice here. And the node tool is a real lifesaver for any adjustments you want to make after you've drawn the shapes. I'm then using the brush tool to create some scribble lines. For me, 4 points width and the last brush preset on the drop-down menu did the trick. To tie in all my elements together, I'm actually going to add the math grid to the background. You first need to enter isolation state to copy the grid from under the mask. Then paste it in the texture layer. And finally, mask it under a circle, et voila! It's not a journal without some cute stickers. I'm drawing them freehand, as if I've scribbled them while letting my mind wander and taking a short break from completing tasks. So I'm using the same brush but with the 2-point stroke this time. and just doodling a few objects that have to do with my routine, work and play. Once I finish a design, I group all the strokes and I draw its contour with a block color to give it a sticker look. With the exception of this happy-go-lucky sun, where I'll use the Start tool to make its rays. Remember that you can hold down one finger to make the points shorter. Then I've made these hexagonal shapes with some stars that look like cosmic dice. Don't forget to round up the corners. I want to give myself some words of encouragement to keep me going, so let's write Carpe Diem and give it a funky retro rainbow effect. Just turn the text into outlines, group it and give it a stroke. And continue duplicating the text while giving it different color strokes and different thickness too. Place each new duplicate in the back, and here we have it, ready to work on a boogie. Last but not least, washi tape, horoscope inspired. So let's create a long rectangle, 15 mm wide, filled it with blue. And now I'm going to doodle all 12 zodiac signs with the brush tool. I'm using the split screen function to call in a reference image from Pinterest, otherwise I really wouldn't know how to draw this just by memory. Probably I know how to draw my own sign, which is Pisces. Do you know how to draw yours? Let's split it and go back to our main design. Now it's time to place all my stickers around. Absolutely love this part. And here's our final journal planner for 2023. Hope you'll use it to be more creative, more productive, and overall more balanced in reaching your creative goals this year. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!